Okay, this is the word for the day, Saturday. And this is the close of the seventh day. Sabbath day. We are now into the first day of the week. It's 6:45. Anyway, this is Acts chapter 2. And it says, "And when the day of Pentecost was fully come, they were all with one accord in one place. And suddenly there came a sound from heaven as of a rushing mighty wind, and it filled all the house where they were sitting. And there appeared unto them cloven tongues like as of fire, and it sat upon each of them. And they were all filled with the Holy Ghost, and began to speak with other tongues as the Spirit gave them utterance." Okay, this was the outpouring on the day of Pentecost. This happened. Pentecost, as you know, is 50 days after Passover and unleavened bread. So if we go to Acts 11:15, I will pose a question. This is what 11:15 says. This is Cornelius' house, and Peter went to Cornelius' house, and the Holy Ghost was poured out on the Gentiles. Remember, this is the event where Peter had a vision and saw the sheep come down with unclean animals in it.
Oh, buy my pumpkin.
And verse 15,
Buy my
Peter,
pumpkin. Give me hugs. Give me hugs.
14 to 48 in Acts chapter 10,
Poppy, you say
Peter
bye.
is, bye baby.
Little cuteness, say
Peter is
bye.
telling
Okay, you ready to go, Bubby?
Cornelius, the
Bye,
people
my darling.
at
You ready to go?
Cornelius'
Bye-bye?
house, and the Spirit of
Hi,
God
baby, saying bye-bye. Take a break and say
fell
bye
on
to
them.
him.
It says, "For they heard them speak with other tongues and magnify God." And then they got water baptized. But Peter is recounting the story when he got back together with all the other believers, disciples, and he says this, "And as I began to speak, the Holy Ghost fell on them as on us at the beginning." He said the Holy Ghost fell on them as on us at the beginning. So let's go back to the beginning and see how the Holy Ghost fell. "Suddenly," verse 2, "there came a sound from heaven." Okay, so this is the Holy Ghost falling on them as of a rushing mighty wind. It filled all the house where they were sitting. And there appeared unto them cloven tongues like as of fire, and it sat upon each of them. And they were all filled with the Holy Ghost. That's how the Spirit of God fell on the disciples in the upper room on the day of Pentecost. And Peter says, again, Peter says here, "And as I was speaking, the Holy Ghost fell on them as on us at the beginning." So my question is, when the Holy Ghost fell on the Gentiles, the question is, did it fall exactly like it fell on them? With a sound of a rushing mighty wind, with cloven tongues being seen, and fire and sitting upon each one of them, and they began to speak in tongues? Peter says, again, Acts chapter 11, "As he began to speak, the Holy Ghost fell on them as on us at the beginning." I pose this, that yes, just the way it fell on them in the beginning, it fell on Cornelius' house. Meaning, the sound of a rushing mighty wind filling the house, meaning cloven tongues were seen, and fire and landed on each and every one of them. That's the way I see it.